hydrogen. It's the most abundant substance in the universe. It provides the fuel for the fusion reactions that power the sun and is a building block of water, biology, and life itself. In terms of energy, hydrogen has long been seen as the most advanced possible fuel. As far back as 1874, French science fiction writer Jules Verne prophesied that hydrogen could be used as fuel one day. And in 2003, then-President George W. Bush proposed a research program to develop hydrogen-powered automobiles in less than 20 years. Today, as engineers look to integrate renewable energy sources into our economy better, hydrogen is getting another look as an environmentally friendly replacement for carbon-based fuels such as natural gas. Companies are developing new ways of producing hydrogen gas that will result in zero carbon emissions, or even negative emissions. Other companies are working on technology to use hydrogen more efficiently than ever before in applications such as cars and power plants. With all these projects moving forward, will we finally see the hydrogen revolution? Will it become the energy source of the future? All this and more in this episode of Mechanical Engineering's Special Report. A hydrogen atom is about as simple as you can get. One electron circling one proton. Hydrogen is incredibly energy dense, meaning that burning a pound of hydrogen releases more than twice as much energy as burning a pound of gasoline or natural gas. All that chemical reactivity has a downside. Most hydrogen on Earth is locked up in compounds. To get hydrogen gas, you have to break apart those chemical compounds, which itself takes energy. That's why engineers say that hydrogen is an energy carrier, not an energy source. And even though hydrogen burns cleanly to produce only water vapor, it really is only as clean as the energy used to produce it. Today, most hydrogen is made via steam reforming of a carbon fuel such as natural gas or even coal. The carbon breaks apart water molecules in high-temperature steam to produce hydrogen gas and carbon dioxide. If the energy used to heat water into steam comes from burning fossil fuels, the carbon dioxide from that process needs to be accounted for. Depending on the process, making hydrogen fuel can produce as much carbon emissions as burning natural gas. Some companies are developing plans to capture and store that carbon dioxide to make what they call blue hydrogen. There's another way to make hydrogen without carbon emissions, through a process called electrolysis. This uses electricity, not carbon, to break apart water atoms to make hydrogen gas and oxygen gas. Backers of this process call it green hydrogen. The process has been known for 200 years, but up to now, it has been more energy intensive and expensive than steam reforming. Now, companies such as Planetary Hydrogen in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, are developing methods to improve the economics of green hydrogen. Its system uses an electrolyzer, but instead of simply using electricity to split water, the process adds a mineral salt to the electrolyte that results in the production of a mineral hydroxide. When that alkaline compound is introduced into the ocean, it removes dissolved carbon dioxide from the water and draws it out of the atmosphere.
Often the way I look at the energy balance is I look at both the energy that's encapsulated in the hydrogen plus the energy that's required to do the CDR in the process. And then you end up with a total energy balance. And I think, it's pretty competitive.
As Planetary Hydrogen and other companies progress towards zero-carbon hydrogen, policy experts are assessing the economics of hydrogen production from various sources. For now, however, traditional methods for producing hydrogen have the advantage.
in our research, we see a mix of hydrogen's production options. Green hydrogen is one, especially if electrolyzers get really cheap and follow the same path as lithium-ion batteries or solar panels, which they are likely to. But methane reforming with carbon capture, whether that's autothermal reformers or steam methane, that's the cheapest way to get low-carbon hydrogen today and likely to be so for the next decade.
Once the price of making hydrogen comes down enough, many in the field believe the fuel will become widely adopted.
It's actually just getting the price of the fuel as well as the price of the equipment to parity with conventional technologies and conventional fuels. I think that's the absolute number one issue. If our equipment and our fuel were at parity, I think then we could really be truly competitive.
Making hydrogen is only one part of the challenge. While hydrogen is a good energy carrier, using it to replace carbon fuels has not been cheap or easy. One of the most promising technologies for using hydrogen is fuel cells. Fuel cells work a bit like batteries. They separate ions from electrons to produce an electric current without any moving parts. In that way, hydrogen fuel cells can be quiet, efficient, and clean. Hydrogen fuel cells have been long used in space missions,